In this quick demo, I'm going to demonstrate how to move multiple different files using the wildcard option in the terminal. As in, this example is going to show three sets of files all under one folder, and it can be very messy to have different files in one folder and you're trying to sort through them and look for whatever it is you're looking for, but it's hard when you see a bunch of different files. So what I want to accomplish is create or organize that file folder to have folders specifically inside that specifies what it contains. That way, if you need a text file, you go into the text folder. You're looking for an MP3 file, you go into MP3 file. Instead of having to just have one folder and has the MP3s, the MP4s, the text files all in that one folder. So here we go. So first, as you can see below on the terminal, I have my desktop folder. So we're gonna go ahead and create the first folder where all the files will exist. So make directory called or named files. So as you saw down there, it just got created, and as of now I'll just list the files folder, which is gonna bring back nothing because there is nothing. So let's go ahead and create the multiple files, and I'll use the option or the command touch to create just blank dummy files. So touch coding music.mp3, my favorite song.mp3, driving music.mp3 into the files folder. So now if I list again the files folder, oh, oops, that didn't work out. So guess we're gonna have to do some magic here. And since I'm in the desktop folder, I want to grab these guys and move into the files folder, right? So use the move command, and then since you could see the only MP3s are the ones I created on the desktop. So instead of having to grab and write out each single one like I did just to create them, I'll use the wildcard asterisk and then put the MP3 extension to grab anything that's an MP3 and then move them into the files folder. Boom. So now it'll list the files folder, and there they are. But see, that's organized so far. So let's create these other files as well. So touch actually yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Touch budget app demo.mp4 terminal demo.mp4 cms demo.mp4, and then I'll use the option pipes option to do another command at the same time as I'm doing this, and on this I'm going to tell it to move any .mp4s into the files folder. So the first is the touch command creating the files, and then the pipe, after the pipe option, there's another command to move all those mp4 files into the files folder. talking about. Well, oh, weird, because I'm about to do that same command since it didn't listen into the files folder. Alright, so less files. Alright, you see, it's starting to get crazy up in there, but let's create one more. Touch appointments.text, to-do.text, and groceries.text. And let's try that pipes thing again because it should have worked. I'm not sure why it isn't. So move any text extension files into the not the touch. Hello. The files folder. Still didn't do it. Alright. It's 2 in the morning, so maybe that's what's causing me to not see how simple my mistake is at the moment. Can't even type either. Anyways, so move any files with the end with the .text extension into the files folder. Files. So let's check the files folder. Alright, so we got all that mess in there. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move each into its own corresponding folder. So that means we need to create more folders inside the files. So I'm gonna go ahead and change into the files folder. So now we're in there. List. Alright, so we see all that nonsense. Now, actually, let me go ahead and move inside the files folder as well. In here. So, there we go. That way we visually see at the same time as we're doing these changes in the terminal. Alright, so let's move all the... Actually, check this out. This has to work, the pipes thing. So I'm going to make a directory, a folder called mp3s, and I'm going to move all .mp3 extension files into the mp3s folder. All in one command. Or two commands actually, but on one line. So here we go. What the hell? Make the directory mp3s. It did create the mp3s directory. Move that mp3s into the mp3s. Pretty annoying. This mp3s. Yeah, so the mp3s directory is empty, so let's go ahead and grab all .mp3s and move to the mp3s folder. So now let's, as you saw down there in the GUI or graphic user interface, that it did move those three specific mp3s into the mp3s folder. So let's check out mp3s folder now. You see, there they are. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that to the other ones. So now I'll target just hold on. Alright, so now we got just text files and mp4s. So let's go ahead and, oh, maybe I could use the pipes this way, where I'll do those two sets of commands for each different file. So move all .mp4s. Actually, let me just make the directories. Make directories mp4s and text. Alright, so you see we got mp4s folder and a text folder. So let's go ahead and move all mp4s into the mp4s folder, and using the pipe command, move .text into the text folders. Sweet. So now we check into the files and we only have the directories. So let's look at what each of those directories has. MP3s, MP4s, and text. Boom. You see they all have their specific files in their folders. Very cool. Alright, since these are all fake, let's go ahead and remove everything. Let's go back. One directory. Now I'm back in the desktop. And remove everything. RF option. Files directory. So it's, of course, inside the files directory is the MP3s, MP4s, and the text folders, and then all the corresponding files. So it's going to remove everything from starting with the directory and its childs. Alright, boom.